We're gonna just do a whole lowdown of this Terrible One barcode that I have, since people are asking, and I literally raised the price on it. Why? Because I didn't get 15,000 views of me wrecking it. So this is like a between 04, 05 Terrible One barcode. I bought it as a frame, and it's still sold as just the frame. I don't believe somebody even sells this thing complete. But the frame alone I bought back in the day for like $380 off a wall at a bike shop. It sat there and sat there and sat there until I snapped the Haro Blamo in half, because that guy was selling out of the box, bolt up, you know what I mean, expensive bikes that were in a box. This was just the frame. So I snapped my Haro Blamo in half, the baby blue Haro Blamo in half right here. And then I had a Back Trail Pro that I let the Sharp Hardcore sprocket go, so that's just the Schwinn logo. You know what I mean? Because I needed a sprocket at the time it went on there, and I'm reusing the Sharp Hardcore chain because it works. And I had this wheel, the back wheels that I had on it, this bike for a little while were Alex triple walls with Suzu hubs, 14 millimeter sealed Suzu hubs, and they started peeling and I busted them. This right here is an ACS Fat Claws. It's for this big chain, 14 millimeter Odyssey Hazard lights, 48 spoke. There is light peeling starting on the edges of these, but back in the day, you know what I mean, you usually just get rid of these wheels. Now, if you take these to a powder coating place, they could sandblast these and recoat those chrome, and it'll probably work just as well as you wouldn't even notice. The only thing you'd notice is it doesn't have the sticker on it. Diacomp 990 with these dust shields removed, because the dust shield actually would hang it up and it wouldn't make them work well. All the pros knew that trick. Even Dave Mirra himself, that's where I got it from. So these were Cool Stop pads. These are the bolt-on type, but they're locked down on it because Cool Stop changed the way they made pads. They made it so they were threaded. Everybody went to a Tektro. So it was right at the beginning of when Tektro started, and they did away with the solid piece thread. DK, General Lee crank arms, back when they were orange, the DK was, I don't know if they still sell it orange, but it was, my buddy's, his was orange, let me think, early 2000-ish, and that's a red line bottom bracket, because the red line arms I snapped off right here with S&M pedals in it, and I couldn't get the S&M pedal out, so I had to go to these Haro pedals. Seat that came off the Dave Mirra Pro, it's got the signature on it, probably needs a new seat. Haro seat post, pig fat bearings, unsealed, Odyssey stem, see, Odyssey stem, and this is the more desirable one that a lot of people are still looking for. It's got, you couldn't strip it out because you can just interchange the bolts. Paid a lot of money for that back in the day, and you know what I mean, if I sold that on eBay, I probably could get about $200 for it. There is a Primo spacer right here. Primo seat post, unnamed. That was an oddball unit I got on a deal on. Premium products, two-piece bars, they're 23 to each end. That's the way I bought them. They weren't chopped. I don't believe they're chopped. These grips, I believe, are also, no, the bars weren't chopped. They're 23, both end. I believe I just took a tape measure. These grips, I believe, are also Odyssey, and they were back in the day, and they are in very, very, very good. It's hard to even get. They're in very good condition. There's like, you know what I mean? There's grip on it. Diatech, dirty, hairy lever with the sleeve on it for if you have a bigger handlebars. Yes, they got scratches on them because you know not always going to stay on the bike, but you can always pull that off if you got a heavier bar. I had standard strip bars before on a Schwinn Hydroglide, and you could just take this off and that would bolt to the heavier end. You cut your standard bars down, or S&M bars, the 4-piece bars that they had. But these are 2-piece bars, 8-inch high, standard fork. There's one on eBay right now that's the same thing. I just got this decal, for the older decal on it. There says STA on it. I believe that's for the STA 500. I bought that separate with the headset. Like everything, like literally part by part, I put this thing together. Some of the parts are even older. Some of the parts were bought brand new. The wheels I bought brand new for about 400 bucks. They're a complete matching set. Thus, it doesn't have a free coaster. Like I said, I blew up my ankle. I never got a chance to put the free coaster in it. But $1,000, that's what I'm selling it at. I will not ship it. Cash in hand, you meet at my location, not where you want me to meet you. You know what I mean? It's kind of logical. But the cost of everything went up, and I want truck parts. And this bike's been for sale. And what's going to happen with the money for this, like I said, the cost of living went up. So this thing's been for sale, and that kid beat me down on the price for it, and I'm not going to do that. The cost of living went up, so why can't a bike go up? The cost of square bodies, and people are selling these square bodies for like $20K with lip locks in the front. Well, hell, I got a bike that's completely built that you got to buy as a frame. That's way better than your off-the-shelf box bike that people throw together. Like Haros and dynos. And then you also see the old school dynos going for like 600 bucks. And they had one-piece cranks and crappy parts on them. I know people like to collect those, but this is also a collector's too, if you understand that. So this is ready to ride still. You can still ride this. I would, if I rode this bike today, I would replace the chain, maybe go to the smaller size sprocket, but the different size sprockets didn't affect me. I didn't care. You know what I mean? Why? Because I have a testicles on me. So, and I'm used to riding heavy bikes. You know what I mean? A Haro Blammo wasn't light by any means, and this was lighter. And I didn't go to this for a reason. I went to this because it was made by S&M, and it's fucking strong. Very, very strong. This frame is very strong. Terrible One doesn't get a bad reputation. They don't make it out there as far as people, they could make it out there, because other people like S&M's the one who makes them. You know what I mean? They're not gonna say, hey, you know what I mean? But anyway, Joe Rich, if you know him, you know what I mean? That's who started building Terrible Ones. You know what I mean? It's a very nice bike. If I didn't forget, it's got large hub on the right, or large dropout on the right hand side. So some Terrible One collectors might know that. There's a little bit of scrapage on this. It's not gonna affect the brakes any, you know what I mean? This bike's been sitting forever. It's got a little bit of yellow parking paint from other things that I hopped up on. Dropout scrapage. What else? Some more scrapage. Got some black paint in there. It did have a front brake on it too. It had a 990 plate with the 990 on the front, and I started doing nose wheelies without, you know, drop in nose wheelie off ramps without that. I got used to doing it with the brake, and I started doing it without the brake, because you can just jam your foot in there anyway if you need to stop. So never really got to put this bike through a hard pounding. It's got its scrapage, but I blew up my ankle. You know what I mean? It's literally a ready to ride bike, other than, you know what I mean, a few cosmetic things like seats, and that seat's old anyway. That also, I had a Primo seat for it that was on it. It had the red edge to it and the Primo solid leather stamp in it, the center of it, if you know what I'm talking about. From back in the day. It had the blue one on it at one point too, you know what I mean? And they were ended in the same day, because I had a Bulldog that had one that wiped out, and it ripped the cover off of it, and I recovered it with a Little Devil t-shirt and just pulled it tight to it. You could probably do it to this seat if you really wanted to. It had the, you know what I mean? It was a Primo seat where it had a Little Devil logo on it. Something that you couldn't find, and I knew how to do that. So it is what it is. I'm not going to answer. Is it still available if you're going to go on there and look? I will not ship it. I will not ship it. I will not ship it. Cash in hand. It's $1,000 unless you have truck parts that I want. You know what I mean? Well, you just ain't going to have what I want. You know what I mean? Because everything I want is order. And things are getting very, very hard to get. My power just went out, so I got to go. So like, subscribe, enjoy. You just got to ask questions. And not on Marketplace. You're going to ask questions on this video.